Hi guys, welcome to the Christmas Day book haul. That basically means Christmas and my birthday are quite close together. I get a lot of books. I'm going to show you what I got, and I'm hopefully not going to take forever about it. So we're going to get straight in there because there's a lot of stuff, and let's just go with it, alright? So I'm going to start with Christmas stuff, and then second Christmas stuff, and then birthday stuff. And I will explain how all of that works as I go. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is a book that my dad got for me, and the reason that he got it for me is that A, I like books, and B, it's written by the lead singer, I think, of the Decemberists, which is a band that he really likes, and I kind of like some of their stuff, and it's Wildthorn by Colin Malloy, and I'm pretty sure, although I'm not certain, that Carson Ellis is his wife, I think, and that she illustrates his books, and this is the first in a trilogy, and the second being Under Wildwood, and I'm very intrigued. It's quite long for a children's book. It's definitely not YA, it's a children's book, but it's like, none of these pages have numbers. It's over 500 pages long, which for a children's book is quite long, and the print is pretty small for a kid's book. But I'm very excited to get to this. I think this is one of the few Christmas books that I still haven't got around to reading yet. Okay, I then got the next two books in a series that I started last year by Jasper Fforde. So I got book 2, The Song of the Quark Beast, and book 3, The Eye of Zoltar. Both of these are by Jasper Fforde. They follow on from the book that I read last year, The Last Dragon Slayer. The fourth book I'm going to show you is a book that I also got for Christmas. It was the last book I read in 2014, and I love it. I love it so much. It's Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. Ali Brosh. I have been pronouncing her name wrong for like a month. But it's so funny. It's basically just comics from her blog, but it's hilarious, and like, I'm not a dog person, but I even like the dog stories, and her stories about depression are hilarious and funny and really, really accurate and poignant, and it's great. It's funny, it's colourful. This was the first one of my Christmas books that I read, and I read it kind of as I was on the train going to Winter Wonderland, and it's so funny. Just all of it is so funny. I was also given the beginning of a trilogy that I've been wanting for ages, and again, they don't quite match, and it's really upsetting, but I have already read all 3 of them, and I totally understand why people have suddenly latched onto this series. The first one was not my favourite. I think Cress might be my favourite, and if that doesn't tell you what the series is, then I'm just going to have to show you. It's the first 3 books in the Lunar Chronicles. They're so good. Like, this one is obviously still getting its footing when you read it, and it's a bit predictable, and like, I figured some stuff out way too early on in this book because it wasn't subtle. This was better. Scarlet was better. Cress was beautiful. It was brilliant. It was so good. But like I said, they don't quite match. So these 2 are the proper American hardbacks. They've got the lovely cover, and they look really nice when they don't have their dust jacket on. And then you've got Cinder, and you think, oh, that's the same, but no, because like, it's got a shine to it, and it's that big comparison to those. And look at this font. Look at the size of that font. It's huge. It's one of those like large print ones for people with like bad sight and stuff. And my mum ordered them online, so she didn't know it was different. It just said, the first 3 Lunar Chronicles hardback, and technically it is a hardback, but it doesn't match these 2. They don't look as pretty on my shelves, because it doesn't match. The last fiction book that I got for proper Christmas was The Complete Persepolis, which I also have already read. This was the first book that I read in the new year, so I started it at the end of last year and finished it on like the early hours of New Year's Day. This is what I spent my New Year's Eve doing, guys. I was reading a graphic novel. I'm not sure how I feel about Persepolis. I liked it, but it felt not really complete. Like, I felt like it was just a snippet of life, and I kind of wanted a more overarching thing. The artwork was really nice and it was interesting, but I didn't feel like it really had much of a lesson or a point or a meaning to it. So there was that. And I also felt a little bit confused quite often because I don't know the history of that area of the world very well. And so I had to kind of talk to my parents a lot and kind of go, don't understand why this is an issue, please explain things. Which is fine, because now I know some more stuff, but I felt like it should have explained more stuff to me, which it didn't. Then got 2 non-fiction books, the first of which is 105 must-read books. There's lots of information about books that I should read. So at some point I will get around to reading this to know what I should read before I die. So I think this might be a project for like the next 10 years or so, is that these are the books I have to read before I'm 30. God, that sounds really daunting. The other non-fiction book that I got was Joss Whedon's Names, the deeper meaning behind Buffy, Angel, Firefly, Dollhouse, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Cabin in the Woods, The Avengers, Dr. Horrible, In Your Eyes, Comics and More. It's a really long title. When I first got it, I thought the title was like Buffy Joss, Melinda May Tumble, Inara Whedon's Clyde 2.0, and I did not understand because the design of the front cover is not great. But it's like a book on essays, I think, and kind of discussing names of Joss Whedon characters. If you haven't been paying attention, it may have escaped your notice that I really like Joss Whedon, and I really like his TV shows and his films. I think they're really cool. But so this is a really interesting book for me to read. I did get some other things for Christmas, but they're not books per se, so I'm going to quickly show you what I also got. My very, very lovely friend Alicia went into town with me and we exchanged presents, and I, being me, got her a book and she got me an alarm clock. But it's a panda alarm clock, so it's okay. And it's adorable. And I've never actually owned one of the like proper alarm clocks that, hang on, how do I change the thing? Like, does that. Like, that's loud. But yeah, I've never had one of these before and it's adorable, so thank you, Alicia. I then got some things that are reading related but not necessarily book related. So I got I'm So Freaking Organised, which is a selection of sticky notes and lovely kind of sticky notes in a little notepaddy book thing. I got Moleskine The Hobbit notebook, which is gorgeous, and so I might never actually write in it because it's so pretty. And it's got little illustrations at the front with like lines from The Hobbit, and it's beautiful. It's tiny and it's gorgeous. I got another set of sticky notes in their own little tin, and then because despite being actually a legal grown-up now, like literally I can do whatever the fuck I want, like, and no one's allowed to tell me not to. Like, the law can, but like parents can't. I'm a grown-up now, but because of that my parents got me reusable Frozen stickers, and if you don't think this is the coolest thing, I think you're just wrong. They're for children who are 3 years and up. So the last thing that I got for actual Christmas is a really, really cool thing that, like, I've actually seen since Christmas. I've seen other people have got these as well, so I think they're a pretty new thing, but they're so cool. Basically, my dad decided that I didn't have enough classic books or enough pillows, so I've got, I don't know how to do this, I've got the Nutcracker. Like, they're actually pillows, they're plushy things, I sleep on these. Treasure Island, if you can see that, that's squishy. And The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And I think this might be my favourite one. It's not the comfiest one, but it is the most cool. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. That, like, you think it's just that, but then, wait, no, it opens and there's a page of text from Alice in Wonderland on it. Like, that's so cool. And, like, they're really cuddly as well. Like, they're cushions, so they're supposed to be cuddly, but, like, they're so I'm so happy. I got pillows that are books. I got book pillows, like, because we spend Christmas with my dad's family, we then sometime in December or January go and have a weekend with my mum's family where we see everyone and we do present exchange of Christmas presents. So like I'll get one or two other presents, one from my mum's parents and one from my mum's sister's family. And from that weekend I got a new Marcus Sedgwick book. Basically my aunt was reading this and said that she really liked it, and I was like, can I borrow a copy? And she was like, well, I borrowed it from the library, so not really, but maybe someone will buy it for you for Christmas. And then she bought it for me for Christmas, so that's really cool. Also, look at this cover, isn't it gorgeous? It's not overly exciting naked, but it's daring, and it's got blue pages. I really don't know what it's about, but I really liked the Marcus Sedgwick book that I read last time, and I'm so excited to read this. My grandmother also has this thing where she brings like 10 books to this house with her, and she's like, anyone can read any of the books during the weekend, and then at the end of the weekend everyone can take home one book. And so the book that I took home was The History of Books in 100 Books. Like, I have no idea how interesting I'm going to find this, but I quite like history and I definitely like books. I think this will be one of those books where I'm struggling to get to sleep, and so I go and pick up a really like boring non-fiction book and then get deeply invested and read the whole thing and fall asleep at 4 in the morning. So this will be a fun read. Then I had a birthday, and that was terrifying because I turned 18. And let's look at what I got for my birthday. I'm gonna start with the genuinely most exciting, I think. And the first one is this. If you like music and are like actually interested in kind of professional music, you will probably see that this is an orange amp, which are like quite impressive amps. And this is tiny, this is like smaller than my face. It's so cute, and it's not an ornament, like this actually works. This is a real amp. I'm like, it's adorable, and it's tiny, and it's real, and it's beautiful, and if you disagree with me on any of those things, then you're just wrong. I also got a new ukulele. If you know me kind of in the not internet, then you'll know that I have been playing the ukulele since I was 13 or thereabout, and I've had a single ukulele in that entire time, so for 5 years, and this is like a proper ukulele, and it's an electroacoustic ukulele as well, which means I can plug it in and like put it into my tiny orange amp. It's so cute. It's beautiful, I love it, so this is great. Book-wise, I then got some other things. So I then got Unite Me and Ignite Me, which are both by Tahara Mafi. This is 2 novellas, and this is the 3rd in the trilogy, and you guessed it, they're not the same size. They're not even the same height as Unravel Me, which is the 2nd book, and which means they're not the same size as the 1st one. But not only are they not, like, this one is shorter than this one, but taller than the other 2. So they're all the wrong size, but they are American paperbacks, which means I can do this all the time. It's so weird. I then got 2 books that I had absolutely I'd heard of them, but they weren't on my list. They weren't a thing that I was expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting to get any of these, because some people know what they're getting for Christmas and birthdays. I have literally no idea. But like, these weren't things that I'd ever expressed to my parents wanting to have. But my mum was like, you need to read some more interesting non-YA things. So she got me Dawn French's Oh Dear Sylvia, who apparently, as well as being a comedian, can also write books, so that's interesting, and hopefully it'll be good. And Sue Townsend's The Woman Who Went to Bed for a Year, which I've heard of Sue Townsend. She's from Leicester, or she was from Leicester. She died last year, and she wrote the Adrian Mole books, who's like, it's like supposed to be this like really accurate and honest description of life as a 13-year-old boy or something. And The Woman Who Went to Bed for a Year is supposed to be like a thing that every grown-up woman reads or something. So I'm keen to read this, but I don't know when I'll get round to it exactly. But they're both quite nice additions. They're quite plain but nice, so I will get round to them at some point. I then got The Retribution of Mara Dyer, which is the third and final book in the Mara Dyer trilogy. Unfortunately, I've completely forgotten what happened in the first two, so I think what I'm going to do is not read this for a while and then reread the first two and then this one, because I've avoided spoilers so far, so I think like the hype's gone down a bit now, so I think this will be fine. These are all by Michelle Hodkin, by the way. I really like them. I know that some people have some problems with them, but I really enjoyed the first two books, and hopefully the third one will be just as good. The last book that I was actually given, I talked to my mum on Christmas Day, and I was like, Booksplosion is a thing, and the book that they're doing their review on like the 3rd of January, and I don't have money to spend because I'm saving for this thing, and I didn't get it for Christmas. And she was like, oh, well, maybe I'll get it for your birthday. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I can wait 5 days to watch the review. And so for my birthday, I also got Blankets, which is this great hulking beast of a book. It's a graphic novel, like autobiography thing. I read it. It was not what I was expecting, and like with Persepolis, I felt like it didn't really have a closure. I didn't get any closure from the story, and so that was a little bit disappointing. I also wasn't expecting it to be quite so filled with religion, so there's that. I did enjoy it and I liked the artwork, but I don't know. It's interesting and I flew through it, but I'm not sure it was really worth the money. Like, I didn't buy this, but I don't think it was, like, it says on the back that it's like $30. I don't think this was worth $30. It was good, it was interesting, but it wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't worth $30. The last thing that I'm going to show you is a book that I technically bought. Basically, my mum gave me a gift card with some money on it for buying books, and she was like, you can't spend any of your money because you're saving up, so here's a gift card so you can have the experience of going book shopping without endangering your plans for VidCon. And so the first book that I bought with this was The Final Empire, Mistborn Book 1, because it's the Booksplosion book of the month for January. It's 600 pages, and I was going to get this book at some point even without Booksplosion, because I actually really like high fantasy, and Brandon Sanderson seems to be kind of like Terry Pratchett in that he has all this stuff that goes on in the same world, but the storylines are all different, and I really like that as a thing. I really like high fantasy, and just any fantasy or any author who builds the same world but has loads of different stories set in that world, because I think it takes a lot of dedication, and it means that your world works well enough as a world to support not just the characters from the original story but also like every other story. So I'm really hoping I'm going to enjoy this. It's like 600 pages. The text is really, it's quite a nice text to read really. But yeah, so hopefully I'm going to really enjoy this. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to show you guys. I hope you liked this book haul. I did get one other thing, but I can't get it out and show you. Basically, it's a massive poster, like bigger than my arm span, and it's the entire text of Gulliver's Travels on a poster, and the gaps between the words have got like little people, and then the bottom half of Gulliver like lying down. So I'm not going to get it out because I'll undoubtedly damage it or rip it. Basically, I'm waiting to get a frame so that I can't damage it. and then I'll put it in a frame and I'll put it up and I'll show you once I've put it up. But yeah, so these are all the books that I'm gonna have new for like the next 6 months, because I'm still trying to save for VidCon. I am currently like nearly halfway to being able to afford to go, but I don't have any more birthdays or Christmases between now and VidCon, so I'm desperately searching for a job, which is really difficult, like really difficult. Why will no one pay me to read books, guys? Why? Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it's going to happen or not yet, so I will undoubtedly have an answer by the end of February, but if it doesn't happen this year, I will do my very best to go next year, because I really want to go to VidCon. So that's it. I'm gonna go eventually. The other thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that I have bought and paid for a ticket to Summer in the City. I'm going to Summer in the City. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to Summer in the City. If you don't know what that is, it's like the small scale version of VidCon, and by small scale I do mean small scale, but it's the British version. So it's in London. It's not difficult for me to get to. I don't need to raise tons and tons of money. Like, I'm going for all 3 days, so I'm going for the Creators Day on the Friday, and then I'll be there Saturday and Sunday, and like, you guys should let me know if you're going, or like, I don't know, I want to meet people. Like, I'm so excited about this. It's not until August, and the early bird tickets have sold out, so like, if you want to go but haven't bought tickets, you need to keep an eye out for it. They've got like a Twitter thing, but like, it'd be so cool if some of you were there. That would be really awesome. So I will see you guys next time. Bye. Also, Alicia, if you're watching, I will get round to making those videos about the sociology stuff. I promise. I will do it. I will. Just like, not yet.